Hello and welcome to my channel Linguamos. My name is Mustafa. In my previous video, I touched on the topic of learning foreign language only in your own country. In today's video, I am going to talk about a misconception and the biggest false expectation about the process of learning a language abroad. As we all know, learning a language abroad is the most effective way, of course, if all the conditions are met. However, depending on the country you want to go, it requires serious cost and time. If you have the opportunity and are ready to go abroad, then you need to know one thing very well to successfully learn the language. Living in a country where the desired language is spoken does not mean that you, by default, will learn automatically the language and start to speak soon. Not to mention taking short-term courses abroad, I have even witnessed that many students who have graduated from the university with a baccalaureate degree cannot speak properly, especially in Russia, where I am living. And it shouldn't be taken as an exception. It can be anywhere and with anyone. As a linguist, teacher, and language learner, based on my own observation, I call this the comfort paradox of being and living abroad. Put in another way, people who live and study abroad psychologically inculcate themselves a misleading opinion about living in a country where the language is spoken. They think they are immersed in a constant flow of information, and as a result of which they will be able to learn the language effortlessly and speak naturally and automatically. Such thoughts and opinions not only cause a loss of alertness and awareness about the language learning, but with the time also bring it to the subconscious level that the person is no longer able to report what is happening. As a result, this deceptive feeling causes people to learn slowly and poorly, and over time leads to a loss of attention and motivation to learn language. And the worst thing that can happen is that it can even lead to desensitization in general. And it isn't uncommon also that it can lead to ignoring and rejecting the language completely. Being and living abroad only provides you with the opportunity to be closer to the resources. But to use the resources correctly and productively, you must make a personal effort and work on it. Although immersion is the most effective method for everyone, nevertheless, the most logical thing you can do as an adult is to combine the principles of language immersions and studying. This way, you will learn the language much faster and stronger with a so-called non-combustible reserve. Otherwise, if you make do only with what you are hearing from the environment, you will not succeed, especially when you learn such complex languages as Russian, Arabic, Chinese, etc. Take the responsibility of learning exactly for yourself and do not rely only on the fact that you live abroad or with a native speaker. This belief is based on typical psychological motivations such as putting responsibility on the environment, expecting help from others, and procrastination. That is, putting things off for later or even for a long time. I have seen many examples over the years in Moscow and across Russia that the vast majority of foreigners living in Russia for 5, 10 or even 20 years cannot speak properly. This does not mean that they lack the skills and talents to learn language. This is simply due to the different reasons such as wrong approach to the language learning process and learning the language with the wrong people and lack of due vigilance to the entire process.